Massachusetts voters could see a ballot question this year that would roll back recreational cannabis use. The Secretary of the Commonwealth's office says the measure has gotten enough signatures to proceed to the next step of qualifying for the ballot. The group behind the ballot question campaign is the Coalition for a Healthy Massachusetts. And joining me now is Wendy Wakeman, spokesperson for the coalition. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Jessica. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about why. Let's start there, because Massachusetts voters first approved recreational use of marijuana in 2016. What's the reasoning for wanting to make a change now?
A group of business leaders, parents, mental health professionals, doctors came together and said, look, this isn't working out quite the let's smoke some pot in the basement and eat brownies way that it was sold to us. These are people who are concerned about the physical health of people using marijuana, concerned about the societal impacts, concerned about the impact on pets and children. So they got together and formed a ballot question committee and are putting this question before the voters. Did it roll out too fast? Are we living in the Wild West of cannabis? Should we take a step back?
So what changes exactly would this potential ballot measure propose?
It doesn't change personal use. It doesn't change medical marijuana. In fact, the only thing it does do is shut down the recreational marijuana stores. The stores are the biggest problem because that's where we're seeing products that appeal to children, products that appeal to people who probably shouldn't be using the product are sold. And you know, if somebody needs marijuana, they can go to their doctor. We can still have the medical side, but we'll cut out kind of the reckless use.
I want to talk to you about the initial ballot petition signature process. The Coalition for a Healthy Massachusetts has been accused of misleading voters and even misrepresenting what was on the petition while collecting signatures. What's your response to those accusations?
So I've heard those accusations, and they're unfair, and I believe they're trumped up by Big Pot. Big Pot has a lot of money. They have a high stake in this game. We hired a professional company, an out-of-state company, to come up and collect signatures. Those signature collectors were paid, they were trained, they were asked to sign a statement saying that they understood the message that they were to get across. And we believe that the signatures were collected ethically. I stand behind those signature collectors. That doesn't mean that across the state there might not have been things that that lead to misunderstandings, but there was never an intent to defraud. There is no intent to defraud. And in fact, I mean, we have to be honest. Are there 100,000 people in Massachusetts who would like to see the recreational marijuana repealed? And I think we'd all have to say yes. There are probably 100,000 people in Massachusetts who would like to see recreational alcohol use repealed. So it's both trumped up and not very valid. I think I stand behind what we've done. Our group stands behind what we've done, and we think that we'll withstand the charge.
Well, opponents of this ballot measure point to the economic impact, right? Marijuana has quickly become a major industry in the state. Does the potential economic ramifications of this ballot, does the measure, worry you about that?
Sure. I have a lot of respect for folks like Tito Jackson, who's walking into a new industry and building a business. And I loved listening to him talk. He's a motivated guy. But the health impacts and the societal impacts of recreational marijuana are huge. DUIs have gone way up. And in the cases of fatalities, Massachusetts fatalities, more than 50% of drivers involved in fatal accidents test positive for marijuana. That's huge, right? That's huge. Marijuana often gets in to communities where it shouldn't be. Younger people, children taking gummies. In the case of the poison control centers being flooded with folks who are being poisoned by gummies, 50% of those cases are in children under 5. The big category of teenage men who use, teenage boys who use marijuana, it's often to mask or to exacerbate mental health problems. All of these things are things that are shown in studies, but maybe understudied and maybe worth taking another look at. And economic impact is, you can't say that we don't. I love business and I love business owners. I'm not sure where to point with the marijuana industry that we're protecting the communities we need to protect.
Okay, well, Wendy Wakeman, we really appreciate you being with us and having this conversation.
I'm so glad, and I think that's the great thing. We're talking about it. We're talking about how to rightly roll this stuff out.
All right, thank you so much for being with us. And also, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for watching, everyone. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can watch the show on our very local app. It's free to download on your phone, tablet, or smart TV. Have a wonderful afternoon.